This is going to be our episode 0, right? I'm not going to call it officially 1 yet. This is a good little trial run. But we're going to call this project Marketer versus Marketer. I say all the time in my content, you can talk to 100 marketers and you can get 100 different opinions. And it's not necessarily because one person is right and one person is wrong. At the end of the day, everyone has a different approach, a different style, right? We just watched the Super Bowl this past weekend, and both coaches can be great, both teams can be great, but how you execute and how you design your plays are completely different, even though the goal is the same. It's to score a touchdown or to kick a field goal. But how you go about it is where the nuances are. And so my brother and I are going to get into that a little bit, different things, just all aspects of business. Look, at the end of the day, I think we're on the same page when I say we're here to help entrepreneurs like yourselves. We don't have all the answers, but we have a lot of experience. And so we just want to share those experiences with you and chime in whenever you're ready. That being said, I got my brother Jordan here, man. Just go ahead and tell me a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Blaine, man, I appreciate it. One, I appreciate the opportunity for you allowing me to be here and tell my story. I think this is one of the best things in today's day and age that you can do to have conversations, get to know people, learn what they're about, and just figure out how you can align with them in their space, or if you want to bring them into your space and how you can kind of mesh together and figure things out. Yeah. Again, I appreciate the opportunity to have met you, and we'll talk a little bit about how that process, how this all came to fruition, because I think that is one of the things that's going to be very valuable to the people listening is how did this even happen? Because I'm sure, people watching me right now, friends, family, that kind of thing, they're probably going to be watching this and thinking, what the heck is it? How did this guy get, you know what I mean? And we're going to talk a little bit about the power of just breaking down the veil of, all of the things that hold us back in business, and just hold us back in life in general. And I think we're going to have a really good and insightful conversation. And my name, just to introduce myself, is Jordan Canseco. I was born in San Jose, California, moved out here to Arizona when I was 2 years old. Lived here up until the point I was in 8th grade. We moved around a little bit. In 8th grade, ended up moving back to California. Was out there for high school. Met some of my best friends out there in Patterson, California. Shout out Patterson. And in 2018, my sister decided to come out here to ASU. She got accepted to ASU. I was already going to ASU. I was working at Starbucks doing my schooling online. So I decided to come out here with her, and we've been here since 2018. Our older sister followed us out, ended up having a couple kids. Whole family came out, followed us back out here to Arizona, so now we're all out here in Arizona. And now basically I'm just, trying to make waves out here, trying to find my way, and at the same time trying to help others do the same.
Yeah, that's dope,
that's my goal.
That's dope. I love it. Yeah, man, I think it's weird that seemingly out of nowhere, right? I don't believe in coincidence. I believe my life is purpose by design, and every step that I take, is purpose by design. And so, I don't think it's a coincidence that I met you. I believe that it's destiny, right? It's part of the plan. And so, but it's interesting that, going to that event that we went to, which was a Scale Your Ads event, and we'll kind of get into a little bit of that as far as just some key takeaways is what we kind of want to talk about. But it's just interesting how everything just kind of unfolds. Yeah. Where I was telling you earlier, on this Saturday before that event was on a Sunday. That Saturday, I took a training in this room just to take advantage of an opportunity. I had met someone else at a networking event, and they were like, oh, you got to check out the studios. So I'm like, what is that? Oh, it's a spot where businesses can go and use equipment. What? Yeah, how much is that to rent? No. It's absolutely free. You just got to go and, get involved. Yep. So I just showed up on a Saturday. I'm like, okay, I'll sign up. I signed up for the class, met a bunch of people, and literally the next day met you, and you started talking about a podcast. And I was like, hey, I just took this, just from this space. It's absolutely free. Come on out. And so here we are a couple of weeks later, and now we're here. So you're a marketer. I'm a marketer. And I just love the idea that, like I said, no one has to be right. No one has to be wrong.
Absolutely.
It's all just experience, and we're just sharing.
Yeah.
For someone else's benefit.
There's a phrase that I believe in wholeheartedly. It's different strokes for different folks.
There you go. I like that.
You know what I mean? It's a simple phrase. It's a phrase that goes back probably hundreds. People probably been using it for who knows how long.
Yeah.
But it's the truth,
Yeah.
right? And we had a little conversation about this before we started rolling. It's do what you do,
Yeah.
love what you do,
Yep.
or else you're not going to want to do it, or you're not going to bring the energy that you should to what you're doing.
Yeah.
And everything else will come to fruition. Everything else will take care of itself.
Yep.
You'll put yourself in rooms with people that you want to shake hands with. You'll
Yeah.
put yourself in situations where you have no other choice but to figure it out and get yourself out of it. That's one of the things I love about being an entrepreneur is so many times I've had my back against the wall and I've had to figure out, whether it be, doing small gig jobs or, making more calls or doing more outreach, whatever I had to do to get to where I needed to go next
Yeah.
in the, whatever step I wanted to take next in the process. It's just about doing it,
Yeah.
doing the things.
Yeah.
And that's, what I love about how this all came to fruition also is, and again, we'll talk about the Scale Your Ads event, but, just going through the process of how we got to that event,
Yeah.
how we ended up meeting each other,
Yeah.
why we're here doing what we're doing, and then ultimately bringing it back to marketer versus marketer in what opinions between us now are maybe different,
Yeah.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean, or something that can bring our audience in on just this whole thought process that we're
Absolutely.
kind of going through together, because
Yeah.
this is really all this is just out loud thoughts.
100%, bro.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. When you walked in here, you were like, hey, Blaine, how's this going to go today? Brother, I have no clue.
Right.
I just got this computer up and running. We've been here for an hour and a half,
Yeah.
right? So it's part of the process,
Yep.
right? And that's what we were kind of talking about earlier. The process is you don't know, but you have to be willing to go,
Yep.
right? I'm clipping that. You don't know, but you have to be willing to go. The idea we think in our head is that, hey, well, if I don't know, then I can't go. No, you've got it backwards. Just go. You will figure it out. You just got to be persistent. Now, I could have quit in the first hour and said, you know what, Jordan, go home, brother. I don't know how to use this computer. It's not the setup that I have at home. It's different. I could come up with all kinds of excuses. I did apologize probably about a dozen times. Like, yo, my bad, bro. I'm trying to get through it. But we got it up and running, right? And we're moving. So if you don't take the step, you're never going anywhere. So to his point, man, just go. And I think we're both kind of on the same page. And he was talking about doing a podcast. I want to do a podcast, and we're here now. So what this looks like, we don't know whether or not we're going to combine on certain products or things. We haven't talked about any of that stuff. So one of the things that's going to happen is you're going to see behind the scenes, what does it look like to just be at a networking event, meet someone, and then develop that relationship over time and see what kind of ventures we do.
Yeah.
You threw out the idea of hitting your first million.
Yep.
I'm right there with you, know. So
Yep.
when we do that, what does that look like? And you're seeing this is day one. Well, I mean, day one was a Scale Your Ads event, but this is essentially day two of us meeting.
Right.
We met at the event, and now we're here. And we don't know what the future is, but we're here, and we're going to figure it out, and you guys are along for the ride. So this is the process.
Absolutely. 100%. I'm glad to be here in it
likewise.
with you. That's another thing too I strongly believe in is just being grateful of
Love that.
where you're at, what you're doing.
And just so we can get an idea, and forgive me for cutting you off,
You're good.
but I want to attempt to drill this down into let me get inside your brain real quick in terms of prior to meeting me and even figuring this out. Tell me a little about what your business goals were, kind of what did you want to achieve in business, what are you looking to do in business, and all of that. Go. I'll shut up.
Absolutely. So we had this conversation, about what a broker is, and for me, I did a lot of self-reflecting, thinking about what my job as a broker is, and when I broke it down to its most simplest form, it's to me connector. So my goal ultimately is to put myself in a position where I can connect with people who need to get deals done, right? I do commercial real estate and I'm a business broker. So, my client base is business owners, entrepreneurs like myself, people who are, willing to invest money in some of these higher risk things. Commercial real estate is definitely not something that you want to go into lightly, right? But in order to get in connection with these people, it all boils down to marketing and what you do and what you, on a daily basis, the activities that you're doing in order to create opportunities for yourself.
Yeah.
Because that's all marketing really is creating opportunities for yourself or for your clients or whatever it is you're trying to do in your business, you want to have conversations with people who are like-minded, right? So that's why the whole idea of a podcast to me was the best way. I'm just sitting there thinking, right? What's the best way for me to connect with people on a more personal level that's actually going to have an effect on whether or not we do business together in the future versus a 2-minute cold call where they can't see my face, they don't know me, you know, I can come across one of two ways. I can come across salesy, or I can come across, you know, calm and collected. There's so many different ways that phone call can go, and the nerves of making the call that are before the call, all those things, for some reason, they're not there when I'm in person with somebody.
Of course. Yeah, no, I
you know what I mean?
I hear you 100%.
So for me, it was, let's do a podcast.
Yeah.
Let's get together with people, invite them to tell their story, learn about what they do. I don't see anybody in the commercial real estate doing a podcast simply just for connection wise. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people get people on a real estate podcast to talk about the deals they've done in the past and how they got to where they, you know, got, which is great content, but no one's actually documenting the process of how you make connections as a broker in this space, because not everybody's quote unquote an investor, but there are people in the space that are learning about commercial real estate that can help people invest in commercial real estate. And I think that exemplifying that and exemplifying what a broker is, and kind of breaking down the veil of, or eliminating kind of the salesy aspect of being a broker, I guess. And just breaking it down to, it's really just connecting with people and having relationships and figuring out how we're all in this life together, figuring out how we can combine and push each other forward. And for me, that's, you know, obviously in commercial real estate, I want to help investors find the best deals off market. That's what I spend a lot of my time doing, looking for off market deals. Business brokering, same thing. I'm just
unpack
connecting.
That for me. Forgive my ignorance. Explain off market versus on market, or what?
Off market is an opportunity that has yet to hit the market. So CoStar, you know, Crexy, all those different places where you can go and shop for commercial real estate. A lot of deals in commercial real estate, they happen outside of that. They happen before you even really see what's going on. They happen on golf courses. They happen in conversations like this, right? Money moves in conversations.
Bro, I'm clipping that. He said it. I'll give him full
know what I
credit
mean?
right now, but
money moves in conversations. If you get yourself in front of somebody who has the money or has the capital that you need, and you have a conversation with that person, and you're able to exemplify your thoughts or put your thoughts into words the correct way, get them to believe in you, believe in your mission, that one person can change your whole entire life. That person can say to you, the next sentence they say to you is, you know what? I love what you do. I'm going to invest $100,000 in your business. And you don't know when that conversation or that moment can happen. And if you're not out there actively pushing yourself to have these conversations and do these different things, do the outreach, and it's not all cut and dry. It's not one single way. It's not just cold calling. It's not just door knocking. It's not just flyers. It's all of it combined.
Exactly.
It's what works.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the biggest things, a big takeaway. We'll kind of segue into this, into the Scale Your Ads event. That was the biggest takeaway that I took from that. The biggest takeaway was, he's like, I got you here on a thing that says Scale Your Ads. And he goes, I'm not going to show you how to make ads. And he had this diagram with like these 12-step program on it or whatever it was. I don't remember exactly how many numbers it was, but it was a ladder effect that if you want to be in this figure range, I think it was like 6 figures, 7 figures, 8 figures, and there's things you have to do, and it was the systems and the processes that you need to have in place, and that's what changes your income level. The more systems you put in place. You know, I wrote an ebook a year ago, and I talk about, you know, systems, right? And so I came up with these 8 systems. As I interview entrepreneurs, I realized there's these 8 systems that, you know, most entrepreneurs are not doing, right? And they vary, marketing and sales being one of those things. And I think it's interesting that you said, you know, like, money moves in the conversation.
Yeah.
And being a broker, you have to have conversations not only with people that are looking, but people that are also selling.
Yep.
Right. So you have conversations on both sides. And it's interesting that one conversation is one way to one person and it's another to another person, right? Because they have different needs at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And so do you find yourself being a chameleon? Like, are you juggling back and forth, or are
Oh,
you
man.
pretty consistent every time?
I'm
or?
a chameleon. I feel like as an entrepreneur, you have to be.
Yeah.
You have to. There's no choice, really, in the matter. Like, you have to know how to present yourself in certain situations, but then you also have to break down, how can I just appear as myself today?
Correct, yeah. And not be pulled one way or another, but be genuine to you. Yeah.
Exactly. And not try to do too much.
Explain
you know
that.
what I mean?
What do you mean by doing too much? What would be an example of doing too much?
What I mean by that is, like, you almost get yourself in certain situations where you feel like you have to over-explain or you have to overcompensate. Oversell.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or being
yeah.
a yes man, would you, is that so? Or, is
Or
that
yeah,
different?
just kind of agreeing just for the sake of agreeing
Yeah.
because you feel like that's what you need to do. Like, you have to figure out a way to present yourself authentically.
Did you always have that skill set as an entrepreneur to know to be that to?
It was
have the
always
presence of mind?
always something that I was aware of.
Yeah.
But it's always something in the back of my head where I'm like, how important is it? Because
Got it. Has that become more important to you?
it's weird. It hasn't, honestly. Honestly, it's almost like I'm going against it. I'm trying to break it down in my own head because it shouldn't matter what kind of clothes I decided to wear today. It shouldn't matter if I'm wearing a hat or not wearing a hat. It shouldn't matter, a lot of these minute different things, they shouldn't matter.
Yeah.
What should matter is that person trying to deliver something to you actually about what they say, that, like, are they doing the research to learn the knowledge, or are they just, watching something and regurgitating what they hear?
Yeah.
Right? It's not, it's a matter of, does that person connect with me? And I think you can't really connect with the person authentically if you're trying to over-present, if you're trying to overdo who you are.
No, you're absolutely right, bro. And I think even if you did connect, is it a genuine connection?
Exactly.
Because you've connected on a premise that really isn't you because you've oversold.
Exactly.
Or in some cases, you undersell, right?
Exactly.
You're not being genuine.
Exactly. Yeah, and yeah, it's like when I'm having a conversation with my best friends from high school versus when I'm having a conversation with somebody in the professional realm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The difference between those two, and like figuring out, how can I bring a little bit more of this guy to this setting, but still keep it professional, still keep it business minded, because I want people to know who I am underneath all the business and all the sales and all the, you know what I mean? Because life and business is sales. You have to make sales. If you don't have sales and marketing, may I add, you don't have a business.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's part of the game, but how you get there matters to me.
Yeah.
And I think, my process has been so up to the point where, like, I'm trying to over-present, I'm trying to oversell, and that's where, like, when I get in cold calls, I feel like I'm doing that. I feel like that's what I'm doing, overselling.
When you're aware of that, are you scaling it back, or do you just go, I'm here now, let me double down?
Well, when I'm in the call, I'm in the call,
Got it.
right? So that's kind of like where that situation is like, damn, I have no choice but to kind of, I've already kind of presented myself as this way, now I got to be this way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Stay in that vein,
As opposed to, or like if I just present myself in the beginning how I am, I like to golf, I like to make music, I like to do all these different interesting things. I'm not just this one person doing this one thing. I'm not just a commercial real estate broker.
Correct.
Then the connection is stronger in the beginning. Now I don't have to come back every time I see you and try to act like that same person I was in that very first conversation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's dope, bro.
So, yeah.
The presence of mind, brother, that you even have too. There's a lot of guys out there who won't even realize that that's the issue.
Yeah.
So that alone, man, just respect on that, because people don't realize that, my shortcomings, whatever they are, right? They're different for everybody, and they're not all egregious, right? They're not all just the worst thing ever. But it's just little things that you want to tweak, what I say is you're always looking for efficiency in business. You want to get that 1% better. You hear that being said all the time,
1%
right?
better
That
every
1%
day.
better.
Yeah.
And that's part of that, right? You may have missed the mark today, but we'll hit it again tomorrow.
Right.
God
And
willing,
here's
we get
the other
day,
part
but-
of it.
yeah, go.
Here's the other part of it. It's not always just 1% better every day. Maybe it's 10% better 3 weeks from now.
Yeah, facts.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you don't see it until
Yeah.
that day comes and you're like, wait a second, I'm here now.
Yeah.
I'm doing
yeah.
this. Kind of similar to
Once you
this,
hit that million and you look back,
right?
you're going to be.
and you're like, wait a second.
There was a day
I
I was
did-
chasing a million, but this is nothing, right?
I wasn't thinking I was getting 1% better every single day, but when I look back on it now, okay, I can look at the milestones and say, okay, I went from here to here, but what got me there
Yeah.
in between, that's the 1%,
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
But that's the people don't see that part
Yeah.
of it
No,
as the glamorous,
Yeah.
you don't got all the cars, you don't got all the girls, you don't got all the cool stuff yet, you know what I mean?
Yes.
This guy
No.
must not be doing what he's saying he's doing, you know what I mean? But it's
Yeah.
like, no, dude, it's,
You
you get
know-
there when you get there.
Yeah.
You get there when you deserve to get there.
Ooh, I like that.
You know what I
That's
mean?
That's something to chew on right there.
Like
You get there when you deserve.
you
to
get there when like
Yeah.
what Kobe said. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if or not Kobe, I'm sorry, Tiger. Tiger Woods. One of the favorite lines from Tiger Woods is like, if you haven't put the work in, you haven't put the time in. One, you're not going to win, but two, you don't deserve to win. Right?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Because you haven't put that work in.
It's
so-
crazy. Oh, go.
Just put the work in.
Put the work in.
Go
Put the work
ahead.
in. No, one of the things just the other night, I'm a faith-based guy. I grew up in church all my life, so just scriptures always come to mind. And one of the things that come to mind is there was guys who had the talent, and one had 5, and one had 10. And when the Lord comes back, he says to the one that had the one talent, he hid it. And the Lord is like, well, because you hid it, I'm going to take your one talent and give it to the guy who had the 10. And I was thinking just last night, I'm like, why didn't he give it to the dude who had the 5? At least he would have got one more. The dude who had 10 already had 10. But when you think about it, you're being rewarded for the work that you put in. The work that was put in for the guy to get the 10
Yeah.
had to be more than the guy who put in the 5.
Yeah.
Well, how do you know? Well, he got 10. He had to do more to get 10. There's no other way, And so that's always, your hard work is always going to be rewarded, is what I take out of that parable. Just work hard. Yeah, we all are given a measure of talent to do something with. Some of us hold on to it and we don't grow. I think we were talking offline a little bit just about people who will stay in a mindset where they just don't get it.
Yeah.
That's them hiding that talent under the ground. 'Cause they're just
Yeah.
like, you know what? He gave it to me, but I'm going to safekeep it. No, bro. Let that thing go. Let
Yeah.
it flourish.
Yeah, no, I was saying this before. Everybody has that thing, and I know I can't be the only one every day in my head thinking,
No.
Maybe I could do this for business. Maybe I could do this. Maybe I could do that. Maybe I could do this.
Yeah.
I'm not the only one. I can't be
No,
the only
you're
one
not.
who's
You're not.
thinking that way, right?
But it's funny because I was the same way.
Yeah.
I would think that I was the only one thinking that way until
Yeah.
you meet someone else like you.
Exactly.
That's how that goes.
Exactly. Yeah, you meet those people that are like, okay, wait, there is people out there like me. I'm
Yeah.
not crazy.
Yeah.
And that's what is like so hard to see when you're around your friends and your family that have been doing the same things for so long, especially coming from a Mexican family background. The tradition or the quote unquote path to success.
The right thing.
Exactly. The right thing to do is get good grades, graduate from high school, go to college, get a good job, work 9 to 5,
Yeah.
take care of your family, take care of your kids.
Yep.
That is kind of the playbook
Yeah.
that was given to me, or from what I see in my everyday life is what the men in my life have done.
Yeah. We're not allowed to take risks because there's too much responsibility on the table.
Exactly.
So because there's too
Right.
much responsibility on the table, I can't take the risk of entrepreneurship.
Exactly.
What's guaranteed to me is if I go work the field, I'm going to,
Right.
and I just mean field as in any job, not
Right, or
I
just
don't
work
mean
in the
to be-
factory or work
Yeah.
in anything, right?
Wherever
Any
the- wherever the
9 to
job is.
5 job where you're just comfortable with, I can feed my family, I can feed myself, everything's kind of
consistent.
taken care of.
It's safe,
Yeah.
right?
And don't get me wrong, that's great. I love and I have so much respect for people who have done that and do that. That's a commendable thing. That's honorable work.
Agree.
But there are people out there like myself and like yourself who have this opportunity, who don't have kids or, aren't married. I don't know if do you have kids?
Yep.
You have kids. So even if you have kids, it's not something that can hold, like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't let it hold you back.
Oh, no.
Right? So
I
that's
do it for 'em.
honestly, that's kind of part of what, I want to talk about too, is just let those things that are holding you back go.
Yeah.
And just do one small thing that you, at the core level of you, when you were sitting there in 6th grade or 8th grade or high school, whenever you were at your most creative peak in your brain and you were like, maybe I want to do this someday. Why not give it a shot?
Yeah.
Right? I always told myself I make music, right?
Yeah.
Or I made music a little bit in the past, and it's one of those things where I may not be the best. I may not be, Kendrick Lamar or Lil Wayne or any of those guys, but I like writing.
Thoughts.
I thought it was great.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. That Game Over was cold, man.
Yeah.
It was cold blooded. Loved it.
Yeah.
Loved every minute of it.
Yeah. Go.
But just I like writing poetry.
Yeah.
I like music. So I'm just going to go on YouTube, search for a beat, find a microphone, and I wasn't even using a real microphone. I was using a Beats microphone to record myself, and just sit down and write a rap lyric and overlay my voice with the track. I don't have to worry about all the stems and all that other, just the simplest thing.
Yep.
But now I made a song.
You got the creativity out.
Right.
And I think
Right.
that's the biggest lesson that I learned it over time. I kept hindering myself because I was afraid to, for whatever reason, whether it was, what are they going to think? They're going to think I'm trying to be a rapper, or not that I was doing that. But
Right.
to your point, I think just even getting on camera and going, hey, I want to create a video for you guys to learn about business.
Right.
Just doing that.
Right.
Just doing this, what we're trying to do
Yeah.
now, not trying what we are doing now.
Yeah.
No, brother, you're right on point. And I think these are the things that entrepreneurs need to hear is, look, there's not one entrepreneur out there who has it figured out.
Yeah.
It's not about having it figured out. Now, here's what I do think you should do. You should take note, or you should review. I think after every 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, you should do some kind of a review and go, hey, what worked for my business? What didn't work for my business? And what do I want to do in the future for my business?
Right.
And you can only move based on the information you have in front of you and whatever data you've collected behind you. So
Exactly.
if you're not collecting data, you're not going to know what you should or shouldn't do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you have nothing put out, right? If you're not putting stuff out on your social media, there's so many business owners out there who want to do social media, but they just don't. Just start posting pictures at the most simplest level.
Yeah.
Start posting pictures. Start getting organic content out. Start building up a brand name for yourself, what you do, what it is that you do.
Yeah.
Right? And then start to figure out all that more expensive stuff and all the advertisements and all that other stuff later down the line.
Yeah.
But people forget that beginning and just starting is part of the process.
Yeah.
You can't get from here to here by just going here. You
Yeah.
have to go here.
Absolutely.
And then you have to take a step forward and figure out, oh man, this is regulated this way. So I got to go left now and take care of this. And then once I take care of this, I can start moving forward again. And then something hits me here and I'm like, shit, I don't have the money to do what I need to do right here. So I need to focus in on getting more income, doing things I need to do, and then I can invest in this. And then I, take a right turn and then vote right. It's not linear.
Correct. No,
Essentially is what I'm saying, right? You have to figure out where the pitfalls are and then navigate through them. Or what you can do is you can listen to somebody who has been through that experience and try to eliminate some of that learning curve.
Yeah. And I think that's where mentors come in, or what you might call a business coach, however you want to call it.
Working with marketers, working
group.
with someone who's in the space above you, what you do, what you want to do,
Yep.
learning from those people, all of that plays into building a business.
Yeah.
And all of that is, in my eyes, marketing in a way, right?
Yeah.
Not all marketing is creative.
Yeah.
A lot of marketing is the footwork, getting out, going to networking events, making the calls, shaking hands with people, putting yourself in those different situations that you need to be in. That's marketing also.
Yeah.
It's not just the putting an ad out or a commercial or a billboard or a flyer or any of those creative things. That's not necessarily it.
Yeah.
Right? What marketing is you're trying to create opportunities for yourself so that you can push your business forward by whether that be a sale or, connection that you need to make, whatever it is. to get a little bit more income and create more revenue for yourself. And then everything else starts to kind of fall into place. Then you can kind of systemize things. You can delegate things out. You can get to a point where you don't have to record everything yourself. You can hire somebody to record for you, right? Now that's one of those things that you're eliminating from your head, right? You can start to utilize some of those tools out there. Utilize AI especially. One of the big things that I want to push in my business, for my marketing business, is AI. Utilizing AI and how it can help you. And kind of breaking down some of the stigmas. I think people think that like AI produced content is quote unquote fake, but they're forgetting that AI is just a tool for human creativity. So it's just one of those things that's helping you organize or, structure your thoughts in a more deliverable way, but it's not replacing you.
Yeah. Exactly.
You're still the person who had to go in and learn all the things that you needed to learn so that you can present that in a certain way or how you wanted it to be presented.
Yeah.
Right? And then you use AI to create the content. And one of the things that I've been doing is scheduling things out so that now I don't have to worry about, now I'm sitting here having a conversation with you, and there's something going out on my LinkedIn, there's something going out on my Instagram, and I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to touch my phone. I don't have to worry about, man, I need to make a post today. No, I just take care of it all in one sitting, schedule it all out.
Yeah.
AI helps me write a week's worth of content in 4 hours.
Yeah.
And now the rest of my week is available for me to go do more, dollar revenue generating activities.
Yep.
Shaking hands, making cold calls, looking for the deals. But at the same time, you're creating incoming stuff for yourself at the baseline level, so that when you get to a point where you have a bunch of clients coming in, you have work, you have stuff to focus on to take care of your clients, you can't do so much marketing now.
Right.
You know what I mean? So now you're relying on that creative piece to drive people to you.
Yeah.
And my thing is trying to get people in on that early on, have them learn that process, so that when they get to that point, it's just one of those things where like, okay, I'm having incoming leads coming in. Now I just need somebody to call those leads. So now I can think about getting myself someone who can answer my phone.
Yeah.
Just primarily answer my phone,
Yep.
take care of these leads, but I'm already putting the creative out on the front end to drive them to where they need to go. Now I need somebody in place to take care of those clients and onboard them or get them
Yep.
further down the funnel,
Yep.
right? Because marketing doesn't work if you don't work what's coming in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, facts.
And yeah, just like all the different things out there nowadays that are at your disposal to use, AI, social media, all that stuff. It's so important to dive into right now and start to learn, especially if you're starting a new business.
Yeah.
Because the way of doing business, the old way of doing business, unfortunately is kind of, you're not going to get into it's going to be a lot harder to get into those rooms, the old money, the quote unquote old money, the people that have been there for a long time. What you need to do is start marketing yourself to your audience, your age group, your, group of people that you're going through this life with, that you're aging with, that eventually when I'm 40, they're going to be 40, right? So if I connect with them now and show them now that at 29 years old, I'm putting in the work, by the time we're 40 years old and I'm still doing the same thing, there's more trust there.
Yeah.
Right.
100%.
But you don't see that 40-year-old version of yourself.
Yeah.
You only see the 29-year-old
You only see
version.
the current version. Yeah, yeah.
You only see the current version. And so that's why it's so hard to get rid of those things that hold us back, because it's a lot of fear. It's a lot of uncertainty. It's a lot of risk.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going to happen. Like, dude, I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I don't have a plan for, I'm not working 9 to 5. There's no structure, right? So if I get a meeting tomorrow with somebody random pops up, or if I go out after this podcast and I'm reaching out to people and I connect with somebody and book a meeting for tomorrow, I don't know that's going to happen until it happens.
Yeah.
Some people can't deal with that.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
You probably don't want to be an entrepreneur. That's how I live my life, bro.
Exactly, man. And it's like, that I find that fun. I find that interesting. I find that
to me,
scary.
that's freedom. To me,
exactly,
it's freedom.
It's
I can choose to do when. Now, here's the other part to that. It's also on me to generate my revenue.
Yeah. Yep.
Right. So I can have all the freedom on the front end, and I don't have to get up till whenever.
Yep.
Or you can be disciplined, right? That's a whole other topic, right?
Yeah.
But there's so many things. I want to do about 10 more minutes here. I do want to dive into scale your ads a little bit, some takeaways you had, and then I'll jump in on some takeaways I had. But give me, what was your biggest, as you're sitting in the room, from the whole event, from the time you walk in the door to all the way to the event, what are some takeaways?
I'll take it back to the very, very beginning on when I saw that ad on my phone, right? Because that's something that I truly believe. That's my whole business model, is utilizing ads and organic social media to get people to take real life action. And that was my biggest takeaway, is I actually got to go through that process live and see that it works for myself, so that now I can take it back to my clients and say, guys, you need to be doing this. This is 100% a method that works if you can, on the front end, get people to where you're trying to get them to go, right? So, for example, speaking to like-minded people, obviously on our algorithms, we see things that are aligned with what we want to see. I saw a marketing ad, high-level marketer, lots of followers, in a space that I want to be in, right? Something that I want to do, something that I want to accomplish. I saw that ad. I clicked on that ad. I fill out the form, right? It's a free event. This cost me zero money. But again, a lot of people stop themselves right there at that form. They're like, wait, this is a scam. You know what I mean? This is nothing. I'm not going to do it. You know, whatever. This guy's all full of shit, whatever. Right? They stop right there. So for me, I was like, you know what? I'm going to keep going. I'm going to see how this goes. Filled out the form. Show up at the event. Introduce myself to you. And by the way, shout out, because I actually did a social media video explaining when I met you and how I said I'm trying to start a digital marketing company, and you told me, no, you're not trying, you are. That stuck with me, man. It's something that I took back to my followers and I talked about, because that right there is, you need to hear that from people. And you only hear that from people that are in your like-minded space, right? And my friends aren't telling me every day, nah, dude, you're doing this thing, right? Like, keep, you know what I'm saying? Like, they'll encourage me when I, tell them of something new that I did, or, that kind of thing. But when you're around people who are like-minded, you're getting that energy all the time. So now you're fueled to push forward. Yeah. You know what I mean? But again, my biggest takeaway was how the marketing worked. I filled out the form, got an opportunity to go to the event. I show up at the event. First person I meet is you. All while in my head, I'm thinking, I want to start a podcast. I want to do these things, but I don't know how. And then I meet you, and we have a conversation about this podcast studio and the resources that are available, that are free resources. Yeah. But I would have never, ever figured that out if I just didn't take action and got past that point where I was like, you know what, I'm not going to be scared today. Fuck it. If China gets my information, or the US wants my information, because that's what everybody thinks all those forums online are, so be it. But no, I took the chance, and it was an actual marketing event where I got to go network with people who are like-minded, and now I'm sitting here in a podcast room doing one of the things that I've always wanted to accomplish. Now I can say, I don't want to be on a podcast anymore. I've been on a podcast. Yeah. So now it's, dope. You know what I mean?
That's dope, brother.
And just that was my biggest takeaway, is the marketing works. Now, to get the sale, you as the business owner have to be willing to work those leads and the people that are coming into that funnel. Yeah. How you set up your funnel is your unique way. But when it boils down to it, the marketing, which is what I help people set up with AI, the content, building the lead capture pages, getting people to interact with you as the business owner, that's what I find the most important to get that whole process started. Yeah. Because Yeah.
So you're going to help them with the landing page.
Exactly. Everything.
You'll help them with the whole workflow as well?
The whole workflow.
That's awesome.
That's what I want to set up for businesses is just build their website.
Yeah.
Consult with them.
You'll build their full website as well, not just a landing page.
Not just a landing page.
'Cause a lot of marketers just do the landing page.
I build the whole website.
Nice.
The whole website.
Okay.
And we build it out with SEO pages so that you have content that's educating your client, right, on the page, on the website, because that's what drives SEO. A lot of people think you just have to have the pretty looking site. No, you have to have something that Google can read. There's no words on your website. Google can't read it. How are they going to know what you do?
Yeah.
Right? So the content is a huge piece. The creative, the copyright is a huge piece of it. And then a lot of people also think, well, if I'm using AI for my copyright distance, you have to train your AI to sound like you. And then everything that comes out of that AI is you.
Yeah.
So you're not putting out like.
Are you able to help the entrepreneur with that as well? Help them.
Yes.
Create the AI to sound like their company.
Absolutely.
Because every company is unique, and so you have the ability to help that entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
Create a unique voice within AI.
Absolutely, brother. I can show you that process right here, live on camera, if you wanted me to.
Yeah.
It's
we'll
literally.
Do an episode where we dive into that we can see how he works. And then book with them directly. That'd be dope.
Yeah, it's definitely just having a conversation with your phone. Have it go on chat. Just a quick.
Go.
Get people going. Go on Chat GPT. There's a voice function on there. Click on it and say, "Hey, Chat GPT, ask me 30 questions, so that you can develop what my tone of voice is, what my sentence structure is." Basically how I talk. Ask me 30 questions so that you can figure that out. And then the AI is going to go through and ask you 30 questions one by one and answer those questions in your voice. So you're answering in your voice. You're talking to it. So it's you, right? And then at the end of all that, it's going to give you a sentence or a paragraph of how you speak. It's going to even give you a theme. They call me the empathetic hustler, right? It's going to give you a theme.
I want a theme now. I hope
of your right. It's going to give you a theme of how you communicate, and now your voice is set up in this AI, so the content that's coming out of it is you, right? But it's a tool that you're using to help you generate it quicker, so you're again saving time for yourself as the business owner. Yeah. But my whole thing is combining it all in conjunction. Yes, I can build you a website, sure, but the website's not going to work if you don't get people to go to the website.
Correct.
What do you want a website for, right? Do you want a website just to have a website up online so that you can say that you're a business? Or do you want your website to get you leads, right? If you want your website to work and get you leads, then we need to add the social media, because the social media is where I can input the link that's going to send the client or the viewer to your site. Once they're on your site, something on your site has to entice them enough to take action forward, moving forward, fill out the form, make a call, whatever it is you want them to do on there, request a quote. And then that process, once they go through it completely, is your lead generation. And if you can scale that, just imagine you put out a ad on social media and millions of people see it. Let's just say out of that million, 1,000 people interact.
Yeah.
As a business owner, do you think if you had 1,000 opportunities, you couldn't get 4 or 5?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's all a numbers game.
Yeah.
And so when I started, and my background is sales and business and all the different, I've been working with numbers and doing this for a while now, for the past couple years, being in sales and kind of understanding how business works. When I break it all down, it's just numbers.
Yep.
So the more that you can get those numbers up, the more opportunity someone's going to fall through those cracks, and you're going to create an opportunity.
You got to have the at-bats.
Yeah.
You get the at-bats, you get your shot at swinging.
Yeah.
You get
but that is my whole process for business, to get them set up on a website that works and drives SEO, like it works for SEO, so people... we're doing the things on the back end to get you to show up organically, so if people search for your services, they can find you. That takes a little bit more time, right? That is a long play.
Right.
But we're also now implementing the AI and the social media and all those different things to increase the traffic to the website, because the increased traffic on the website is going to ultimately help with the SEO as well. Right? You're going to go and you're going to rank higher because more people are going to your website. Doesn't matter how you get them there.
Yeah.
right? Having them search for you and find you on Google isn't the only way for people to get to your website.
Correct.
So now as a business owner, if you think a website is something that can be useful to you to get leads and to get more opportunities, how now you have to think about it. And this is where like being a marketer or having somebody as a marketer helps, because that's how our brain works.
Correct.
Not every business owner has that same thought process.
Right.
But you have to figure out, okay, the website's there, the tools are there. If somebody fills out this form on my website, I'm going to get an email and I'm going to have an opportunity to make a call to this person and close a sale. That's all possible. I've already seen that. You know, like I've already seen that as proof of concept. I've already seen it in play, so I know it's a real life thing that can happen. How do I make that happen for me?
Yeah.
And then that's where it boils into the creative. How do you create marketing content that's going to stick? How do you create content that's going to resonate with the people that you're trying to resonate with?
Yeah.
Right? And then once you figure that part out, then it's just all combining it together.
Yep.
And that's my marketing, I don't know, underlying
strategy, spiel.
Yeah.
All that.
Exactly.
Yeah. No.
Not really a spiel, because I believe, like, you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
believe in it. It does work, but you have to be willing and able to figure out how it works. And you also have to be patient in the beginning when it's not working.
Oh yeah. Good point. I say this all the time. Someone else I don't know where I heard this, but the idea of going to the gym. Like if I go to the gym once, you don't just all of a sudden, have the perfect body that you want because you went one time.
Right.
But I tell people all the time, 30, 60, 90 days.
Yeah.
Give yourself the runway to figure out what works. There's no way after we do a 30-day anything that I can tell you exactly. I mean, I'll have some idea after 30 days.
Right.
But the more data you have, the more I can pinpoint something.
Right.
Right? Because in 30 days, we might have had a spike.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that it would stay that way. You think of a stock chart, right? The business goes up and down. This is every business, right? So knowing why you go up or knowing why you went down. Is it because you're a seasonal business? Is it because the product that you launched that month wasn't good? Right? There's so many different variables. And so the more time you give yourself, 30, 60, 90 days, don't do something for a week and go, oh, that didn't work.
Right.
No, do it for a quarter. Do it for 90 days. And after 90 days, look at your results.
Right.
Yeah.
Not only that, but give yourself measurable goals after that 90 days that you can look back and say, hey, this is working.
Yeah.
Right. Whether that be more followers, whether that be more views, whether that be whatever it is.
Yeah.
Right. If marketing is your focus and you're trying to get those, they call them what? Vanity metrics in the beginning, right? Likes, comments, all those different things. But you need those things. Right. You need those things in order so that the content that you start producing later on at a higher level, you have an audience already built up from the older stuff.
Yep.
Right. But the older stuff, the grassroots stuff, is what builds the confidence and the trust. And now you're just going through the process of refining it, and people are seeing that.
Refining and getting more efficiencies. Yeah.
Or like, okay, this kid started from talking on the phone in front of in his backyard. Right. I do a lot of videos in my backyard.
Yeah.
Right. His kid is on his phone in the backyard. Now all of a sudden he's in a podcast studio, so he must be doing something right.
Yeah.
Right. But then you see, like, you don't see that until you see it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So no one's gonna know that I'm doing this or doing this podcast until after it comes out, after the post production, after I already put it up on my social medias and let people know about it. Right. No one's gonna know, but this whole thing is part of the process, and it's happening right now.
No,
so the question is how? How do you make that happen?
Yeah.
And that's marketing.
Yeah.
Right? Marketing is how you make anything happen.
Yeah.
It's putting yourself out publicly to the market so that the market can either resonate with you or tell you to F off.
I'm glad you brought that up, and I'm going to end on this. That's one of the biggest takeaways that I think I took from him. You know, a lot of people were asking Jason questions like, oh, should I do this? Should I do that? Because they wanted him to tell them what to do. Mm-hmm. And I love that he was consistent every single time with his answer. Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter what I think. What does the market think?
Right.
And that's one of the biggest takeaways I can give to any entrepreneur is the fact that you have to, most entrepreneurs go into business because they really want to sell whatever their widget is, right? It could be your grandmother's lemonade recipe, right? And so you're going into business because you think your grandmother made the best lemonade, and she probably did, right? Maybe she does. But if it doesn't sell out 100 bottles in week one, you think, well, maybe everybody's crazy or maybe this wasn't the right idea. No, like the market will let you know, but you got to give the market time as well.
Right.
The market will decide.
Right.
And so it may not be the right time. Maybe you were trying to sell the lemonade in the winter. Maybe if you sold it in the summer, it would take off.
Right.
So, but you have to try. Get the at bats. Get up there, swing, take a shot, see what happens. Obviously, we can do this all day, right?
The premise is, and from what I'm understanding in the conversation, the premise is just get started.
Yeah, just get started.
Just do one thing that is measurable, that is actionable.
Yep.
Matter of fact, to the audience, I'm going to give my audience a goal. Push yourself to get 500 new followers or connections in the next 3 months. How? Follow people who align with your interests and have them follow you back.
Yeah.
They're going to follow you back once they see your page and see that they do something that you do something that resonates with them.
Yeah.
Right? So go out and follow people until you hit that number. Right? Now you've built up an audience of 500 people who are solely aligned with what you do and what you're trying to push. So now you're building up an audience that may react differently to what you put out, right? Because your friends and your family and all those people in your life currently that you're in your head thinking they don't understand what I do or they don't understand me as a person, though that's not your audience.
Yeah.
That's not your core audience. That's your sphere of influence, right? So you can take from those people, or not necessarily take from those people, but you can reach out to those people and try to make something happen to get yourself started. But then you have to go out and start to build an audience of people that are not your friends and your family, because your friends and your family can't support your business long run,
Yep.
right? And that's something that I had to learn over time. Like, it's not your friend's responsibility to build your business. It's your responsibility to build your business.
That's
So
it.
go out there, follow 500 people that are aligned with what you do, and just don't stop until you get 500 new followers of people. Like, write the number down of how many followers you have now and just go out and follow people. And once you get plus 500, now you're like, okay, let me try putting out a piece of content that relates to what they want to see and see how the piece of content does, right? That's all marketing right there. Just trial and error, experiment, try something, do something, try to be something other than what you've been in the past, right? Because there's nothing wrong with transforming yourself. I tell people this all the time too. It's like, yeah, if you try a bunch of different things and you exemplify that and you have people looking in on what you're doing and it looks like you're doing, 10 different things, they might think this guy's, just all over the place. But we're human beings.
Yeah.
We have different interests. We have different things that we like to do. Not everything is going to be a professional level of things, but like my music. I make music because I love to make music. I love to write poetry and I love to just express myself. So that's why I make music, right? I do like handmade soap because I just like to be creative. I like to work with my hands when I'm not able to be on because I'm always on the computer. I'm always doing something digital. So I like to do something physical, right? So that gets that itch, right? But there's small, quote unquote, small businesses that are now helping me move forward to where I ultimately want to go. And it's all like ultimately where you want to go. There's no really end destination. Like I don't know what the end destination is or what I want to achieve or like what's going to be enough. No, I don't think anybody ever really does. But you're using everything that you love that makes you to push you forward. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. A lot of people might think that's inconsistent or think you're a jack of all trades. A jack of all trades is a expert in nothing, but that's not I don't believe in that at all. I believe in if you have a real genuine interest in something and you love to do that thing and you decide to do it, it doesn't have to be, the big hitter of your life. It doesn't have to be the one thing that gets you big or puts you on or whatever, the phrase may be. But it's something that you did, something that you can say you did. Right? One of the things I still want to do, one of the things that I've always wanted to do since a kid that you can do and just continue to push forward and surprise yourself with what comes next.
I love it. All right, brother.
And I appreciate, again,
Yeah.
I appreciate you
I
inviting me
appreciate you,
here.
brother,
Again,
for
man,
being
this
here.
is super cool because,
If
and
you
I think
weren't
it's
here,
going to
I'd be
be,
talking to myself.
I think it's going to be great for people to see, because I talked about how we met, and I talked about our first interaction on my Instagram already.
That's
of
dope.
like when you
This is
told
gonna be
me
dope.
don't, you're not trying, you are.
Correct.
Right? I think it's going to be real cool for people to see that
Yeah.
we were able to have this come to fruition and have this conversation and show people that anything is really possible if you're willing to just go out there
Yes,
and
sir.
make the connection. So
This is our episode 0. All right, we'll refine this as we go. We'll definitely do episode 1. And have a little
marketer
more.
versus marketer, Blaine B Media, Film Crew Media.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, all the other stuff. Blaine, what's your social media?
At Blaine B Media everywhere, bro. At Blaine B Media.
At Blaine B Media. I'm at jcanseco_CRE. And then I also have my business page at FLMCRW Media, Film Crew Media. That's how you can find me.
Dope.
And my buddy Blaine over
Until
there.
the
He
next
told
one,
you
man.
how you can find him.
Yeah.
We appreciate you guys for tuning in. This has been a super awesome experience, and I look forward to doing a couple more with you, man.
Absolutely,
in
brother.
the future.
We'll do it.
Absolutely.
All right, until the next one.
Absolutely.
Peace and love.
Peace and love.